Betu! Oh, where has that dog gone? Excuse my shouting, traveler. You wouldn't happen to have seen a dog running around? Large, fluffy, carrying a very important estate-defining scroll in his mouth? Oh, it's a tiring ordeal. I'm visiting Westweald to execute the will of my late aunt, Lady Weatherleah. The will my aunt's beloved dog, Betu, currently has in his slobbery little mouth. No thanks to Lady Weatherleah's investigator friend. Yes, one Mizzik Thunderboots. It seems he and my aunt are old friends, and he insisted on helping execute her will. I've had my fill, but you're welcome to lend him a hand. In fact, I can offer you a tidy sum if you can help move things along. You can find Mizzik just down the road, searching the Weatherleah estate for Betu. He has quite a distinct look. You can't miss him. Khajiit wearing a broad-brimmed hat and big, heavy boots. Quite the flair for the dramatic, if you ask me. My dear aunt suffered a terrible fall in her library. It's tragic. She certainly had many more years ahead of her. Now those she left behind are trying to piece together her final wishes. Even her son deigned to return. I shouldn't be so flippant with my family's drama. Uriel, my cousin, disappeared years ago. My aunt believed he died in Varen's revolt. Yet, here he is. Something doesn't seem right. But I'll leave the speculation to the investigator. One Mizzik Thunderboots. It's an odd name for an investigator, don't you think? Doesn't inspire a sense of discretion. Although, if what he says is true, he knew my aunt. If she trusted him, then so can I.
Huh? It seems Mizzik has been fooled by a four-legged escape artist. Ah, greetings, traveler. Perhaps you can help Mizzik in his search? Ah, an old friend approaches. This one knows there are no coincidences in his line of work. Mizzik could use help solving a curious case. You wouldn't by any chance have seen a beast running about with a mouthful of parchment? Ah, a wonderful idea from dear Aquilia. This one fears there is more afoot to Lady Weatherleah's death. But our first clue is currently in the jowls of a dog. A hairy, stinky thing. Betu is the beast's name, though this one calls him Headache. Oh, yes. Helping with the will is a cover. Not only was her death sudden and mysterious, but now her fortune is missing, and her long-lost son has returned. A great many threads for one's claws to get tangled in. Yes, yes. Aquilia wishes the question of inheritance be conclusively answered before it becomes fodder for the gossips. Now, dear Aid, we must find Betu. This one has already found his tracks. Let us crouch down and follow his trail. With your aid, Mizzik is confident. Mizzik? Most...
I don't know what you're playing at, but you were a fool to come here.
There's Lady Weatherleah and her husband Uriel, our once long-lost son.
Oh, Mizzik. I didn't see you there. I believe I saw Betu heading south. I'm sorry, I didn't see you and the investigator there. This search for the will is rattling my nerves. Please, let us know at once when you find it.
Losing my late mother's will has got everyone on edge. Hopefully it turns up soon and we can have this uncomfortable business taken care of. Then we can discuss more lighthearted matters, such as a celebration of my return.
There's Betu. Quick, grab the wheel while he is occupied. Quickly, grab the wheel.
Not now, Betu! Away with you!
With the wheel secured, let us speak with Edric.
Betu's always been an incorrigible sort. Best not to let him walk all over you. Apologies. I should introduce myself. My name is Edric Bressner. I was Lady Weatherleah's cook. Terrible thing, her death. Beyond compare. Yes, terribly so. I've been in her employ for what feels like ages, which is why I hope you'll listen when I say you must leave the estate. I fear what happened to our dear lady could happen to you. Chefs are privy to more than just their employer's favorite dishes. Lady Weatherleah hasn't been the same since her son's disappearance, and I'm not the only one to take notice. Fruit flies buzz around the sweetest fruit, after all. I can't say any more. I only came to pay my respects and to leave this place behind. If I were you, I would stay far away from that manor before that investigator digs up something horrible. If you insist on staying, that's your business. Just watch your back.
How strange. Come, let us speak, traveler. It seems the cook knows more than he is willing to let on. How very curious. Mizzik will have to make note of this. At least this confirms that the residents of the estate are keeping their secrets close to their chests. Yes, of course. Along with the cook, there's Otho Florius, the gardener. Then, of course, Lady Weatherleah's missing son himself, Uriel, back from the dead. And his wife, Helena, who has long lived at the estate with Lady Weatherleah. Convenient, yes? Many questions surround Uriel's sudden return. And it should be noted that Helena seems none too pleased about it. Mizzik has, of course, investigated a number of failed marriages, but this seems different. Ah, what of the will? Yeah, excellent. The seal is still intact. We should return to the manor now that we've secured the will. I am certain our roosting vultures are keen to hear what it has to say. Meet Mizzik by the manor house when you are ready to meet the others.
I hope Betu's return means you retrieved the will, Mizzik?
Yes, the will is returned and intact, thanks to my assistant.
Well, let's get this over with. Read it aloud, Mizzik.
Yes, of course. Weatherleah's walls hide a glittering secret, safely guarded by 4 loyal paws. Do not worry. Mizzik and his assistant will get to the bottom of this.
I'm sorry. Is that... A riddle?
This must be some sort of joke.
There he is, my faithful friend. Oh!
Strange. Betu doesn't seem too fond of you, cousin.
Nonsense. I'm sure Betu just needs time to remember me. Isn't that right, boy?
Feel free to speak with the others, but join me in the study when you are ready.
The estate feels hollow now, without her. And apologies for my appearance. I needed some liquid courage to walk the halls of this corpse. I hope you find who did this. She did not deserve what happened to her. Closer than most staff are with their lords and ladies, I reckon. I'd worked for her since before young Muriel had even been born. Feels like a lifetime ago. More memories to drown, I suppose.
I'm Otho, the gardener. Betu must like you if he followed you back. He's a good judge of character, you know. Lady Weatherleah loved him dearly. I worry about what will become of him when all is said and done. Edric is making a bit of a fool of himself. It pains me to see him this way. I assure you, he's never acted like this before. Perhaps it'd be better if you asked him. He's had a rough go of it.
It seems I was right to ask for your help. Despite the mysterious contents of the will, this is the most progress we've made all day. I trust you and Mizzik will see things through, and we can proceed with this unpleasant business. Fairly, though I wish I had made more of an effort to visit. I spent many summers here when I was younger, but school and then my position kept me away for far too long. She was kind, generous. Her loss outweighs any treasure we might find.
All this waiting, and for what? A riddle. It's absurd. The sooner you and Mizzik solve this riddle, the sooner our family can move on from this nonsense. To think we haven't even had a chance to celebrate Uriel's return. How embarrassing. You overheard that. Tensions have been high since his mother's passing. There are certain adjustments we've both had to make. Nothing some restful sleep can't solve.
I didn't realize Mizzik had an assistant. A pleasure to meet you. I hope, despite the circumstances, you will find time to enjoy the estate grounds. It's beautiful this time of year. A small blessing while we grieve. Happy doesn't do the feeling justice. Ecstatic, overjoyed, yet still burdened by Mother's passing and the horrors of battle. But being surrounded by loved ones has been a major boon.
Why would Lady Weatherleah leave a riddle in her will? Perhaps you can make sense of it. This one has read many wills in his time, but a riddle? And one that hides a fortune? This is a first. Mizzik could use another set of keen eyes. Perhaps you will see something that this one has missed. Could the four paws mean Betu? They certainly are not Mizzik's. Perhaps we can find a clue here in her study. A glittering secret. Certainly the fortune. Loyal paws? Must mean Betu. But still, clarity eludes this one. How can a dog hide a secret? There must be something this one is missing. It seems Lady Weatherleah led her own investigation into her son's death. A glittering secret. Certainly. It seems Helena made her feelings about the cook quite clear to Lady Weatherleah. A note peeking out from behind the painting. Excellent eye for detail, friend. Interesting. A hidden note guarded by a painted dog. What does it say? Let Mizzik see the note. An anonymous letter warning Lady Weatherleah of a traitor. This one wonders if they were able to meet before her death. It paints a disturbing picture of her final moments. Mizzik was told that Lady Weatherleah died alone in her library. But could she have met with a stranger only to become their victim? We must question the family, but do not mention the note. Whether this note was sent by the killer or a kind soul close to Lady Weatherleah, it confirms one thing, that there is indeed a traitor among us. And with this letter, Mizzik can do what he does best. Play cat and mouse.
If you are looking for the stranger who calls himself Uriel, he went to walk the estate grounds with Helena, and not a moment too soon. I was growing tired of their bickering. Of course, though I doubt I'd be of much help. I was tending to affairs in High Isle when I learned of my aunt's death. As her last living blood relative, I saw fit to see to her will, until my cousin's convenient reappearance, of course. Oh, as I understand it, she fell from her library's ladder while reaching for a book. If she had kept a modest staff on hand, perhaps she could have been saved. But by the time she was found, she had passed. I believe it was one of the estate's remaining workers. Helena would know more. She was here when it happened. Unlike Uriel. I know grief can cloud one's judgment, but is she not at all suspicious of Uriel's story? I haven't seen Uriel since we were teens, before I was sent to boarding school. And then he left to fight in Varen's revolt 6 years ago. He might share a passing resemblance, even with his scar, but I don't believe he's really Uriel. Frustratingly, no. But my aunt spent countless coins searching for Uriel. Even if his story is true, and he lost his memory, she would have found him. I fear Uriel was lost to us in the revolt. And this man is wearing our grief like a disguise. That's the thing. Since his arrival, Helena has been both overjoyed and furious. I suppose his return after so long could explain her mixed emotions. But I think she's hiding something. They share terse whispers constantly.
If Aquilia was Lady Weatherly's last living heir, could she have expected to receive the missing fortune? A motive, perhaps. While you speak with the family members, Mizzik will observe with his keen senses and fine-tuned whiskers. No deception, however small, will escape this one.
How foolish of you to think that I would just disappear.
My love, the investigator returns. We'll continue our discussion later. Apologies. Recent events have been overwhelming, to say the least. I needed some fresh air, and my dear Uriel saw fit to join me. Is there anything I can help you with? No, I was not. Lady Weatherly was kind enough to let me live on the estate when Uriel went off to fight, but I often spend my mornings walking through the woods. A ritual that has helped ever since Uriel's death. Absence, I mean. Otho Florius, the gardener, was the one who found her. He was the only one home at the time. Ever since I fired that horrible cook, Otho's been the only remaining staff member tending to the estate. Yes, I caught Edric snooping around my private quarters. Terrible thing, having one's privacy encroached upon. I told him to never return or I'd have Betu chase him out. I admit, I did enjoy striking fear into that sad little man. Well enough. He's known me since my courtship years with Uriel. He causes his fair share of mischief, but Lady Weatherly could never bring herself to get rid of him. After all, Betu was her last connection to Uriel. The dog has a penchant for stealing what isn't his. I usually ask our gardener to wrangle him, but as you can see, he hasn't done a very good job. Of course, now that Lady Weatherly has passed, we can consider alternatives.
While you speak with the family members, Mizzik will observe with his keen senses and fine-tuned whiskers. No deception, however small, will escape this one.
Go on then, ask me how I returned. It's the only question anyone seems to have for me. Uriel Weatherly, back from the dead. It's laughable. 6 years ago, I left to fight in Varen's revolt. I was gravely wounded and left for dead, and would have died, had a caravan of Khajiit not stumbled upon me and taken pity. The Khajiit could heal my wounds, but not my memories. They were lost. Every single one. I rode with the caravan until I was fully healed. It wasn't until we rode into Skingrad that the first slivers of my past began to return. By the time I remembered my name and where I lived, it was too late. Mother was dead. Some things, yes, but there are still heavy clouds. For instance, it's clear Mother's riddle was meant for me, but I can't make sense of it. I can only hope your talented investigative skills solve this mystery. I fear Aquilia has merely succumbed to her own grief, chasing phantasms with bloody daggers. My mother was a wonderful woman who died a simple death. It is sad, but common. You come to understand this when you've been to war. From what I've been told, my mother lived her final years grieving in isolation. My dear wife Pelena did her best to keep her company, but my mother had no friends or visitors. Aside from the hired help, of course. All this talk of suspects when the woman simply fell. Though I suppose Thunderboots would not be here if the death weren't suspicious. Speak with the staff yourself if you see fit.
The gardener found Lady Weatherleah's body. We should speak to him next. We must speak to groundskeeper Otto Flores. He discovered Lady Weatherleah's body.
There you go, Betu. Baths aren't so bad. Apologies for Betu's earlier mischief. I hope he didn't damage the will. He's normally better behaved, but the lady's passing has certainly got him on edge. Yes, I had taken over kitchen duties while Edric was away. I was restocking the pantry after returning from the market when I heard a loud crashing noise from the library. I thought Betu might have knocked something over in the library, but when I went to check, the door was blocked by something heavy. By the time I wedged myself through, it was too late. Yes, she was lying on the floor, motionless. One of the ladders had fallen and there were books scattered all around. I can take you to see the library. Everything is as I found it. No, Lady Weatherleah was the only one in the library, which is odd now that I think about it. Betu is usually plastered to the lady's side, but he wasn't in the library. He was shut up in Pelena's room. I wonder why she would have put him there. Well, Pelena keeps going on about Edric, our cook. She says he was acting suspiciously leading up to her death. But for what it's worth, I find him to be kind. He may be able to shed more light on that situation himself.
You won't learn anything from those scheming charlatans, that's for sure. Lost memories, please. Children can weave better stories than that drivel. I'll say it again, stranger. You should leave this place. Nothing but rotten memories. No. Lady Pelena had all but run me out by then. Lady Weatherleah couldn't bring herself to fire me, but I thought some time away would do us all some good. Worst decision of my life, I tell you that. It's my own fault, honestly. Something always felt off to me about Lady Pelena. She never seemed too torn up about Uriel's death. I was convinced she was hiding something, but turns out my chef's paunch doesn't make for being stealthy. She caught me going through her things. A terrible thing, I know, but I don't regret it. Some things deserve to be brought to light, you'll see.
Let us investigate the library. This one briefly inspected the library before the will became the investigation's focus. We have learned much since then. Perhaps we will discover there's more to the scene than Mizzik once thought. The library is to the left. Your other left. We must study the scene carefully. Look for anything out of place. Certainly a ladder couldn't have caused this much damage to the statue. We must study the scene carefully. Look for anything that seems out of place. This one's whiskers are already trembling with excitement. Or perhaps it is the dust. You are certain this is where you found her body?
Yes. I'll never forget the sight of her lying there.
Quite the mess for a simple fall, don't you think? Was that window already broken?
No. It was definitely intact before Lady Weatherleah's death.
Something has broken the glass. Perhaps this was an escape route. Mizzik has seen enough. No blood, a broken window, and a fractured statue with no explanation as to how it was damaged. Mizzik feels that there is something just out of reach of this one's claws. But what could it be? The details don't add up. Investigations always require some stretch of the imagination, but to make sense of this crime scene would be to dream up a work of fantasy. Perhaps the fantasy is the clue. Only a panicked hand could make such messy brushstrokes. Could Otho's arrival from the market have startled the suspect, leading them to block the door and escape out of the broken window? But then why create such an elaborate scene? A fall is simple enough, a tidy portrait. We should continue to investigate this broken window. Perhaps we can find a trail on the other side.
I would never hurt Lady Weatherleah.
Until the investigation is complete, everyone is a suspect.
I would never do anything like this. You must believe me.
The library exterior is just around the corner. Betu, what is she sniffing? Betu found a key. And look, it seems Betu wants us to follow him. Moons above. Is that Edric? A confession, and a flowery one at that. Mizzik isn't sure what to make of this. Tea. This one smells ginger, hibiscus, and something else. Something sickly. Edric's tankard. There seems to be a suspicious residue inside. So this is the memorial Lady Weatherleah built for her son. Mizzik's snout wrinkles at the stench of both fresh and old death. Betu led us to the memorial of the lost Uriel Weatherleah, and now we find the cook freshly poisoned. Let this one see the confession letter. Why would Edric lead us to Uriel's memorial and then kill himself? And earlier, The cook warned us of some mysterious danger. Could he have met the fate he was trying to save us from? Too many bodies and cryptic messages for this one's liking. The note says that Edric served Lady Weatherleah poisoned tea the day she died, but the cook had already left the grounds. Otho confirmed that himself. And this letter says that Pelena was present for tea, but she said she was out all morning. A good question, but the memorial may be a greater clue. Lady Weatherleah had gone to great lengths to find her son, but was certain of his death to raise this memorial. Our Uriel may well be an impostor, but do not give away our upper hand. We know the real Uriel went to fight in Varen's revolt, and that Lady Weatherleah spent a fortune to find his body. We also know from the note in the lady's study that Pelena was against looking into his death. Yes, our masquerading rogue. The cook was certain that he was an impostor, but what about the others? Aquilia has her suspicions, but shouldn't Pelena have known? Why hasn't she raised alarm bells and told the others? And he was the only one who could have ended the impostor's ruse. But then there is Edric's confession. Could it be a forgery to throw us off the trail? Or a convenient end to our investigation? I sense another hasty painting is before us. We should question the...
What is with all the questions, cousin? Aren't you happy to see me?
There's our imposter. Talk to him, friend.
Our intrepid investigators! Pelena and I were just arguing over what to do with my mother's estate. Marriage squabbles. Have you made progress with that mysterious riddle? I can fetch her if you'd like. She just went into the kitchen. The cook, you say? Well, as close as any young heir is with their staff. Now that I think about it, I always did find him strange. Always one for the shadows. I'm glad Pelena saw fit to fire him. I only wish I were here to do it myself. Dead? What a ghastly turn of events! Hold on. Another memory is coming back to me. Yes. The cook always had a secret love for my mother. Was it grief that led him to kill himself? It must have been. You don't think he also killed Mother? Oh, yes, of course. No, I must have gotten ahead of myself. Yes, that's it. All this death, I thought I left it behind on the battlefield, but it seems to have followed me home. Whether murderer or murderee, my heart goes out to Edric.
Thank you, Uriel. That's all. We should speak to Pelena next, traveler.
There's been another murder? The killer could come for any one of us next.
Nonsense. It's clear Edric was a troubled man who killed Lady Weatherleah and took his own life.
Maybe so, but I'm not leaving this room just yet. Another murder? I fear any one of us is at risk. Better not wander off alone.
As Mizzik suspected, the impostor may not know about Lady Weatherleah's search for Uriel. Let us keep it that way. Before we close the curtains on his performance, this one wishes to speak with Pelena about the confession's talk of tea.
Mizzik, do you have updates on your investigation? Mizzik, traveler, how fares the investigation? With so much still left to speculation, I've found myself wandering the grounds, trying to keep my hands busy. I hope to have things settled soon, for all our sakes. Edric? A murderer? I'm astonished. I guess I was right to be suspicious of him, but now I wish I'd had him jailed when I could have. What a travesty. At least now we have some closure, and can focus on the missing fortune. Well, the lady and I had intended to meet that morning, but it slipped my mind. If the tea was poisoned, wouldn't that make Otho the suspect? With Edric away, he would have been the one to brew the tea for Lady Weatherleah. I haven't the expertise, of course, to make such an accusation, but I do wonder. Otho and Edric have worked the estate for ages. Could they have felt entitled to a cut of the fortune? Useless speculation, perhaps, but the mind does wander.
Thank you, Pelina. We will investigate all lingering threads. Traveler, let's speak with the gardener next.
Betu seems to have run off again. It's embarrassing, really. You'd think I'd be better at keeping a handle on him, but the dog is a free spirit. How are things? Made any progress since investigating the library? It had become one of my daily duties while Edric was away. I usually try to brew her a pot before I leave for the market. Apologies for not mentioning that earlier. My daily tasks have become innumerable. Edric is dead. I can't believe it. No, he'd never hurt Lady Weatherleah. We were like a family. Wait, the recipe for the lady's tea is wrong. She's always found ginger to be too overwhelming. Are you sure Edric wrote this? He couldn't have. He'd never make a mistake like that. And he was nowhere near the tea that morning. I started a pot for Lady Weatherleah, and Pelina took over brewing it before I left. Strange. She was most definitely here. She even offered to finish brewing it. I've been so busy as of late that I accepted her offer. It's not every day Pelina lends a hand around the estate. Wait, could Pelina have poisoned Lady Weatherleah? She usually has it in her bedchambers, but the room's been locked this whole time. It seems in the commotion the key has been misplaced. It's likely her room has remained untouched since this whole tragedy began.
Mizzik recalls a gilded key revealed to us by Betu.
If you already found the missing key, you may be able to unlock Lady Weatherleah's bedchambers.
At first swipe, Otho seems genuine, but one mustn't leap blindly. All evidence must be found, and this pot of poisoned tea could be the key. Quickly, let us investigate Lady Weatherleah's room for clues. If the room has truly been locked this whole time, then not even the killer could re-enter. Let us see if we can find any clues among the mess. If this letter is true, then Pelena played a role in Uriel's death. And this signature, is this the name of our resident imposter? This scrap of fabric seems to have been torn from an expensive dress. The residue on that teacup stinks with the same foul smell as the tainted tea we found with Edric's body. Mizzik would like to hear your thoughts on what we found. This note seems to confirm that Pelena Weatherleah had her husband killed while he was away from the estate. Did Lady Weatherleah read it first and confront Pelena with the truth? And what is Pelena left to do when cornered? Indeed, Pelena may have sensed an end to her cozy life. Killing Lady Weatherleah before the impostor's arrival would secure her the fortune. She couldn't have known it was hidden, and now she can't reveal the impostor without outing herself. A poisoned cup of tea would bring unwanted attention to Lady Weatherleah's death. Pelena's only option would have been to stage the scene. A fall from a ladder at the lady's age? Mizzik can already imagine the solemn nods of acceptance. They must have brokered an agreement. Ride out the storm of Lady Weatherleah's death and come out the other side rich. But they stumbled along the way thanks to a curious cook and a meddling Mizzik. It's time we confront our killers. Mizzik heard a scream from down the hall. We must hurry.
He's dead! Someone killed him!
Betu? Betu, what's wrong, boy?
Nobody leaves until Mizzik finds out what
Thank
happened.
the eight.
Traveler,
Beg where I pass
there's
is
something
safe
by
again.
the body. Quick!
But it's such a high cost to our kingdom.
We have to help him. Something has made Betu terribly ill. I've never seen him so scared. If only I knew what was wrong, I could help him. Wait. I recognize this smell. Yes, I couldn't place it until now. We used this poison around the estate grounds. We've fallen into such disrepair that beasts have moved into the cellars. Betu knows better than to eat this. He was forced. Yes, in the pantry. I kept a tin of medicinal herbs for this very occasion. I could never forgive myself if I had a hand in hurting Betu. Please, hurry! Get the herbs!
Quickly, friend. Search the pantry. Mizzik hopes we can save at least one life today.
Betu! He's recovering. The herbs must be working.
Wonderful news. Traveler, let's discuss the note you found with our imposter.
Thank you, friend. I couldn't bear to think of what would happen if we hadn't treated Betu in time.
Our imposter is dead, and our killer nearly succeeded in taking Betu's life as well. It is also not lost on Mizzik as to who is missing from this room. The note you found with imposter Theophan's body. What does it say? The lengths the cook went to protect Lady Weatherleah. This one hopes she knew how dearly she was loved by her staff. There is no doubt left in this one's mind as to who our killer is. She must be held accountable for her crimes. She can't have gone far.
Betu? What is it? Where are you going?
Quickly, follow that dog. Good boy, Betu. Our killer may very well have fled through this door. These tunnels seem to run under the entire property.
Feeling a bit...
Mizzik needs to stop doing that.
Get away from me, you beast!
Apologies. This one is fine. Oh, let's go. Mizzik is all right. Mizzik needs to stop doing that. Oh dear. Apologies. This one is fine.
Damn dog! How are you still alive? I've committed no wrong. That man was an imposter. If I hadn't gotten him first, then he would have killed me. I spit on Theophan Pictor's name for masquerading as my dear Uriel. How could you possibly say that? Whose inane rambling convinced you of such nonsensical drivel? Everyone is out to frame me. Theophan, Otto, even that damned Edric. Damn this rotting estate. Everything I did, everyone I killed, I did it for my own survival. I hope it crumbles into dust just like that crone and her son. I spit on their graves.
The Count of Skingrad will decide your fate.
Helena, why would you hurt Betu?
Because this whole family can rot for all I care.
I can't believe Betu was so brave. Chasing down Helena like that. I've never seen him so singularly focused.
Everything was going fine until that idiot Theophan came bumbling back into my life.
You've done great work today, Traveler. The air is heavy with death. But just like the sun, truth will come out. If only Lady Weatherleah could see Helena beaten at her own game. Helena will be delivered to Skingrad. With the evidence in hand, she should face charges for the deaths of Uriel, Lady Weatherleah, and our imposter. While it's possible Theophan killed Edric, I am certain she played a role. To think this one nearly forgot about our remaining golden thread. Aquilia is the only living relative. Mizzik supposes she will inherit the fortune. Not that we found a single coin to give her. Fortune aside, what we accomplished today is no small feat. If the fortune was to be found, we'd have stumbled upon it during our investigation.
What have you got there, boy?
It seems Betu has brought us something. Betu, where did you find this? Betu? Otto, escort Helena back to the manor. We will follow the dog. Mizzik is all right. Dark moons. Apologies. This one is fine. Missy can't believe it. Is this Lady Weatherleah's missing fortune? Let us investigate. Lady Weatherleah must have left that note before her death. We should show it to Aquilia. You should share what you discovered with Aquilia Veris. She is the only inheritor left for her aunt's estate. Feeling a bit... Mizzik is all right.
Helena, is it true? After everything my aunt did for you.
I don't owe you an explanation, Aquilia. Everything was going fine until that idiot Theophan came bumbling back into my life.
I can't believe Betu was so brave. Chasing...
Otho did his best to explain your findings. But is it really true? Helena is to blame for this nightmare? I thought she was acting strangely, but I blamed it on the grief. I would never have expected her to be capable of all this. And what of Uriel? What was his role in all this? I knew something was off about him. But to think he also played a role in killing my cousin. Lady Weatherleah gave Helena a comfortable life, looked after her every need. All this death, in the pursuit of an absent fortune. Betu was safeguarding the fortune this whole time? It's a strange request, leaving the remaining fortune to Betu and her staff. But I wouldn't dare go against my aunt's wishes. How sweet. Lord Betu of Weatherleah.
You have got to be joking. The dog...
I can't believe it. There must be some mistake.
There's no mistake, Otho. I will help oversee the transfer of ownership. You and Betu will have all your needs seen to.
Excellent work, my friend. Let us speak.
Don't look at me like that. You would have done the same thing in my shoes. The fortune was always my goal. I was happy playing the doting wife, but when Uriel went off to battle, I got greedy. Some old and unsavory acquaintances put me in touch with an assassin, Theophan. I thought I had it all figured out. The fool thought he could show up and demand half the fortune for himself. And the more you and that investigator dug, the more reckless he became. When he threatened to out me and take the entirety of the fortune, I knew I had to kill him. That wretched old woman had one last twist of the knife up her sleeve. I hope she's enjoying this from whatever corner of oblivion she's in. Damned woman never did like me. She was right, but still.
The estate and its fortune are left to Betu and me? I've always thought that Lady Weatherleah's generosity was unrivaled, but this... it's almost too much. I assure you, I'll see to all of Betu's needs. We're family, after all.
Don't worry. I'll take care of all the remaining paperwork and help get Otho and Betu on their feet. Thank you for everything you've done today. I hope my dear aunt can rest easy now.
Many lives were lost, despite our best efforts. There is certainly joy to be found in our success, but this one will spend many a night wondering if there was more that could be done. Perhaps he is not as good an investigator as he thought. Do not downplay your role either, friend. You forget, Mizzik was a bumbling mess, chasing a sneeze-inducing beast. Betu, until you arrived. You deserve a reward for your work, but know that this one is in your debt. Mizzik hopes news of this case strikes fear in the heart of all criminals who think they have gotten away with their crimes. No matter how many years go by, justice is still hunting, and Mizzik will find you in the end. Mizzik will stay for a while as executor of the estate, but he cannot linger long. There are crimes that require his attention, and he must hurry before the trail goes cold. Yes, and Mizzik could not have done it without you. But resting in the shade of one's successes too long dulls the claws. We will meet again, friend, and criminals will tremble at the thunder of our boots. Mizzik likes saying that part.
I've always preferred cats. But you've made a good argument for dogs, Betu.
This one thinks Betu likes you.
Oh, well, you do seem like a very good boy. I'll be sure to order a lifetime supply of steak dinners. Don't worry. I'll take care of all the remaining paperwork and help get Otho and Betu on their feet. Thank you for everything you've done today. I hope my dear aunt can rest easy now. I'll ensure that Otho and Betu are recognized as the estate owners. From there, it's largely up to Otho. I'd imagine he'd want to hire staff and begin tending to the estate grounds again. At the very least, I'll make sure he rests. It might sound strange, leaving an estate to a dog, but wealth can be funny like that. I once attended a masquerade in Somerset, organized by a pet cat. Everything has paled in comparison since. Betu's a good boy. I'm sure he'll adjust. If I'd found out when I first arrived, I may have been a little more concerned. But after seeing the way Otho dotes on Betu, and knowing how much that dog meant to my aunt, I have no qualms. This is what she wanted.
The estate and its fortune are left to Betu and me? I've always thought that Lady Weatherleah's generosity was unrivaled, but this... it's almost too much. I assure you, I'll see to all of Betu's needs. We're family, after all. I don't even know. How does one run an estate? I'll have to hire staff, of course, then get around to the gardens. It's been ages since I've done a proper pruning. Oh, it's all so much, isn't it? But I'll have Betu. He'll keep me sane. Course I do. Never had a pet or siblings, and I've been tending to rich folks' gardens ever since I could use a pair of shears. It wasn't until this estate that I felt like I could breathe, be myself, have friends. Betu's a part of that.
Don't look at me like that. You would have done...
Mizzik hopes news of this case strikes fear in the heart of all criminals who think they have gotten away with their crimes. No matter how many years go by, justice is still hunting, and Mizzik will find you in the end. Mizzik will stay for a while as...